What's up guys, it is me, Mad Samurai 84, and welcome to February's edition of PS Plus Plays. Now we've got 4 games free this month, well technically 3 games and a DLC for 1 game. So yes, if you've never seen one of these videos, basically I've played through the games and I'm just giving my final thoughts where I kind of say what I do like about the game, what I don't like about the game, and then I will give a thumb score where I think it's a good game, and a thumb score where I think it's a good offering. And yeah, there's all these games I have not played before. Some I do technically own on a physical sense, but none of them I have not really played at all. But so it's going to be interesting. If you don't mind liking and subscribing to the channel, that would be awesome. So we're going to jump in, we're going to play these games, we're going to have fun, and we're going to see if February is a good month for PS Plus, because January wasn't too bad itself. So hopefully this is a better month. So let's jump in. So our first title for February is OlliOlli World. Now this only came out in February last year, February 2022. So basically a year from launch, and we've got it as a freebie, which isn't too bad. I remember the first OlliOlli game. It was actually, like, I think it was one of my first digital games I bought when I got a PS4. And you know what? I loved the game. I wasn't too great at it, but you know, I really spent a lot of time with it. You know, I played quite a bit of it, and I just loved it. I thought it was so much fun. And you know, fast forward a year from then, and we got OlliOlli 2 on PS Plus in 2015. Which I thought was alright, but I felt it was a bit harder, and I didn't really get into it that much. I didn't play that much of it. I kind of just played a little bit of it and kind of just moved on. And you know, but now I've played them all. I have to say, OlliOlli World is awesome. The nice jump from like the 2D to like 3D presentation is a joy. Like just the whole graphics, it was very flat, so it's just kind of it gives a nice look. You know, they've got a very nice cute character design, and you get to kind of design your character, choose what shorts, shirts, hairstyle, this and that. Yeah, it's all accompanied by just a nice awesome soundtrack playing when you're in your levels. It's very nice music playing. And unlike the previous games, they've tried to craft a little story over the top and incorporate a bunch of characters that follow you and kind of meet you at each challenge. And while the dialogue exchanges are there, you will probably forget most of it at the time, and you know, just not really kind of think about the underlying story, and you probably might just want to skip past the text to get through into the level quicker. But the story's there. It's very light and fluffy, and you know, it serves a minimal purpose, and it's just a nice little kind of cover for it. But it's nice having the option to skip the dialogue at the start of each level. If you've listened to it once and then you kind of go back and replay that level, it gives you a chance to kind of re-listen to it, or just kind of get back into it, which is nice. It's also important to know that this game looks very deceiving, which, you know, with the cute character design, the soft palette of colours, you think that this game is easy. It may start off easy, but the difficulty does get hard and then harder when trying to attain all the challenges, and also trying to pull off the combos and the sickest tricks does require a lot of practice and fast thumbs, but the fun is trying to learn them, which is easily done by going into the pause menu. You can kind of see all the different ways to pull off special tricks and all that stuff. So yeah, it's not as simple as it is, and it's good to know that you do get penalized for doing the same tricks. So it really does push you to work on your combos by using grinds, manuals, to get the biggest scores. But you know, in the end, this is this will be a game I think I'll keep installed and I'll play through it. It's definitely worth trying if you've never tried an OlliOlli game. And for someone who has enjoyed any of the previous games, I would say you wouldn't be disappointed. It is a very nice, very entertaining, very fun game. Very cute to look at. And yeah, I've just had quite a lot of fun just jumping in. Because you can just jump in and jump out. You don't have to worry about anything. You know, you probably have to just familiarise with the controls if you don't play it for a while. But you know, you can just do that and do a bit of practice. But when you look at its Metacritic on the PS4 version, it's got an 86. The PS5 version sits at an 84. So it is like that kind of between that 8.5 out of 10, and the user score, a PS4 is a 7.8 and a PS5 is a 7.5, so they're all pretty close, the same. And you know what, and I feel like the scores are pretty good. The meta scores, I think, is very justifiable kind of playing it. And I can understand, but with the kind of the user scores, some people might go, oh, it's a bit hard, oh, but you know, it is what it is. So for my thumb scores, for my game score, I think I'm going to give it a solid 3/4 thumb up, because it is a really solid game, and it's nice that they've kind of brought this series and they've kind of really changed it up to not the kind of real gameplay mechanics, but just like the presentation itself. They've kind of like, all right, well, you know, we're going to keep our same formula, but then we're going to change it up and make it look like this, really. So it just kind of gives it a bit of a fresh look, which is very pleasing. So yeah, 3/4 thumb up definitely for my game score. Now for my offering score, well, I think, to be honest, it is a pretty good offering, really. You know, just technically under a year from release, and we get it on PS Plus. So, and I think it's very good. If you've never played an OlliOlli game, I think you can definitely get into it and then really enjoy it, and have a lot of fun. There's quite a few courses for it, so you can spend a lot of time, quite a bit of time playing it. And also, another thing I did quite enjoy is like when you're doing a level, you get rivals and you got to try beat their score. So I did kind of do that a few times of like, all right, I'm going to see if I can beat this person's score. It was quite fun. So my free score, I'm going to give it a full thumb up, because it's a good offering, really, and you don't have to worry about having not played the previous two at all, because it's a very solid offering and very fun game, and I do recommend you playing it. Now, our second title for February is Mafia Definitive Edition. Now, this came out in September 2020, so it's about 2 and a bit years old of this edition. The original came out, which I've never played, came out in 2002, so it's a good 21 years ago the original came out, and I never played that one. But I have played Mafia 2, which came out free on PS Plus for the PS3 in 2013, and we did get Mafia 3 on PS Plus in 2018, which is not bad. And I have only recently, well, not recently, probably September last year, I kind of bought the Definitive Trilogy pack, the physical edition. I haven't opened it. I've just got it sitting there because I got it at a really, really good price, and I thought, yeah, I'll have that as a thing, even though I've got, you know, Mafia 3 digitally, and I think I've got it on its own because I got it at a ridiculous price in one of the supermarkets in the UK years ago. I was like, all right, yeah, that is ridiculous. I'll go for that. And I never got around to playing it, like an idiot. And and I was been wanting to play this soon, which I've gone through and I've sorted all my stuff out once I've kind of currently, because it's all currently in storage, and once I've kind of got it, because I've got it sitting in storage, and once I've got all that stuff sorted out, I was hopefully gonna play it through soon. This is also the last game I'm playing this month on the PS Plus games, because I had a problem as I added the game into my library when it was on the PS Plus extra catalogue, but I didn't get around to playing it. I thought, oh yeah, I'll do that. When I've tried to install it when it came for free, I had a problem. It said like, oh, you had already owned the game. And I couldn't install it. And I was like, God, for ages. I was trying to get hold of Sony, and I finally got through to them, and it eventually got fixed. And probably about you know nearly 10 days late after it kind of came out, maybe a little bit less. So that's why it's taken me a little bit longer to get this out. But eventually got there. Eventually got it on in my library correctly. But first things first, this city this game is set in is called the City of Lost Heaven, which the game is set in, and it looks amazing. The vehicles look excellent, and it really does well in preserving the look and feel of on the town landscape from the 1930s. I feel like I'm not from there. I haven't been in a city that in the 1930s, but it has that feel from what I've seen from films, from pictures, this and that, all that stuff. It has that really nice feel, and it really kind of makes you feel like you're there. And as I've never played the original, I don't really have any reference from personal experience that I can pull from. But so far, I have been really enjoying this game. While set in like an open world, the story is done in chapters, and you'll just go from point A to B, then to C. Most of the time, experiencing a pretty decent story of your character Tommy Angelo, joining a crime family, and then doing what is needed of the Don. And outside of the main story, there is it's really much a part of like collectibles, and then causing a bit of havoc. There really isn't like any side stories of that, and then it's just but the story is the main part of the game, and the open world is a bonus part. But there's not really anything outside of that main story that I know of. I haven't really been able to do much to the open world because supposedly you unlock it after you finish the game. And I'm about a little bit over 50% through the game. Though I have been thoroughly enjoying this game, it is rather easy to notice there are some problems with this game. From the slightly like janky controls, which sometimes feel like they are probably maybe lifters off the original. They just feel a bit like they don't feel smooth, and the moving and the climbing and this just don't feel like it's from an older game, if you know what I mean. Like, it does feel like sometimes I feel like, oh, the controls a bit like a PS2 game. It doesn't feel like some of the other kind of like open world type games, or just modern games in a way. It kind of has a little. There is something with the controls. Can't really. I'm not smart enough to really kind of lay it down, but it does feel a bit maybe slightly stiff and not as responsive, and the animations don't feel like they are as smooth as you would think. But other than that, there's some graphical issues with textures popping up and flickering, and the draw distance on parts of the town appearing within like a couple of yards away from you. And then there's some odd behaviour with Tommy's jacket in a cutscene with the Don while they're feeding some birds. Really, you'll see it when you see it. It is easy to say. I wish they had cleaned up these simple issues to make it a bit better, a bit more of a polished experience. I feel like that would have been a much better. It would have been a much better experience just having these little slight polish, make it a bit more polished. But I have to say, this doesn't really ruin the experience, though. The controls may bug you slightly, but you do become accustomed to it after a bit, and you'll play it and it won't bother you, really. I've just kind of got over it. And a feature which I think is rather helpful is this speed limiter. By simply tapping the touchpad, your vehicle will have its speed limited, so you don't go flying past a load of cops and have them on your tail trying to arrest you. But by utilising it as a brake feature when you're near the cops, or even when you're just trying to traverse around the town and kind of slow down for corners, I did find it super handy, and it really helps from just not getting into too much trouble, really. I use it actually quite a lot for braking, and the cars themselves range from like super slow pieces of garbage to that you would rather like walk to your destination to like super speed demons that you can get, and you would just get killed, really, because if you go crashing into a wall, you'll probably most likely die, which I have found out the hard way. But as I said before, I'm about 50 or so percent through the story. I'm so happy to play this game, and it's really fun and enjoyable. While not the greatest, it is sure an excellent game that should be enjoyed. But when you look at it, this is a little bit of a pain, as this was on the extra catalogue until about like 2 months ago. For it to reappear on the free games, I feel a bit. But the good thing is, I have it now digitally, and I kind of hope we get Mafia 2 definitive in the coming months. In a way, even though I technically do have it on the PS3 digitally, and I have a physical copy, having it digitally, it'd be quite nice. And then I kind of don't have to open up the package, my physical version. I can just leave it, see on the shelf, boom, dish, dong, you're there, and just leave it to collect dust. But when you look at its Metacritic, it sits at a 76 and a user score of 6.9. And you know what? I can probably see a between a 7 or 8 being for this game, because it is actually a really good game. Is actually the story is actually really enjoyable, and the overall gameplay itself is actually really enjoyable. It's actually quite fun. Everything is, and it is just actually an entertaining game. There are bugs. It's not the greatest. It is kind of limited in scope outside the story, and then you've got your collectibles. There isn't much to do apart from just going around causing a bit of havoc and just seeing the world they've created, and it is quite nice. So 76, I can see that. 7.5 out of 10. It does feel a bit kind of right. User score 6.9. I think under a 7 is a bit harsh for this game, because I'm really enjoying it. So when I look at my thumb scores, what do I go with a game score? Well, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's super fun. I'm getting over its problems quite quickly, and I've had a lot of fun playing this game, and I'm definitely looking forward to continuing the story. Whether I kind of go all hog in and probably go for a platinum, it's probably going to require 2 playthroughs, but I'll see. But I'm going to do just 1 playthrough, and really enjoying it, really having fun. All the different weapons. It's it's good. So my game score, I'm going to go with a 3/4 of a thumb, because I feel like it's definitely a really good game. It looks nice. It's nice that they've kind of just redone this, because I never played the original. I remember it coming out, and I've always kind of like, oh, never played that game, blah 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 blah. And instead of me trying to get an original copy, which I might do, I might get an original copy just to have a look, really. But it's just nice. I can just play it on modern consoles, and it's got a really nice, fresh lick of paint. Let's put it that way, and it's very good. Now, offering score, I feel like 2 and a bit years old. I feel like it would have been a super good offering in a way if it hadn't been on the extra catalogue, really. But I'm still actually think this is a good offering. Personally, I think it's a good offering. So I'm going to go with 3/4 of a thumb up for an offering, because I was just like, oh, okay, this is great. you got a game, a semi-open world game, and it's really enjoyable, really. And the whole the setting, the whole Mafia setting is very, very, very cool. I really like it. I very enjoy the game, so I think it's a good offering. And yeah, I think more people, I think people should play this and really have fun with it. Now our third game for February, or should I say DLC, is Destiny 2 Beyond Light. This came out in November 2020, so it's a bit over 2 years old. This DLC. It's good to note that we did receive 2017's Destiny 2 on PS Plus in 2018, and I didn't really play it. I haven't really played Destiny 2 because I kind of felt a bit of burnout from playing so much of the first Destiny, which I think I may have put about between 60 and 90 hours playing it. I played it quite a lot. It was great, but I didn't really get onto like the DLC train. It had kind of become, and just wanted to move on. And when Destiny 2 came, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give that a pass. It came out. I was like, alright, I'll add it, but you know, I don't really fancy playing it. I don't really want to. I'm not really into playing it. I just kind of keep it there. Maybe, who knows, in the future. But now I have installed it and started playing the game. It has sucked me right back into it by doing, by doing more of the bounties than the campaign itself. Why you have to like get to a certain point before you can play the Beyond Light campaign. So when I finally found where I needed to go and what mission I needed to start, I started it. It takes place on the ice moon of Jupiter, Europa. Now the landscape of this planet is excellent, and it just it feels so cold and desolate when you just like on there. You're like, oh wow, but yeah, it does actually feel it's full of life with some with an ice filled heart. As for the campaign of this DLC, I have been enjoying it. I haven't played like a ridiculous amount of it because I was playing more of like the core Destiny 2, but the parts I have played, I've dived into it, because the base campaign haven't even dived much into it. I've been playing it the whole, but this may seem like super weak in comparison of like kind of the main one, because I've done parts of the main one, but it's half decent where you would enjoy it. Along with like the many DLCs of Destiny 2, you also get like the gear from each one and a raid, but you're really paying for the campaign, to be honest. I've been playing the PS5 version, and I find the game looks great, landscapes and designs, but I feel like the actual characters themselves could look a bit more next gen in a way. But Bungie are tinking with their couple of projects they have in the works, so probably not in their best interest. They're probably better with a Destiny 3 or a new IP to really kind of bring something out which is a bit more kind of graphically up to date, really. But the game does look good. The game in itself controls perfectly, and the amount of objectives where to gain XP, different guardians, unlocking this and that. It's a place where they want you to spend lots of time on and push their DLCs and purchases of silver coin to use in the stores that they've got, their online store, to get things to aid you on playing or upgrade you. And you can see that's the kind of like that's the model, really, and that's where there are a lot of games of buying coins, this and that, to really, so you can just get cooler stuff quicker, really. Where I feel like there is like a slip up on this offering side I do feel like we should have got everything before the latest available DLC, the Witch Queen, which I think is about 4 DLC packs, and then as they are, they should have just pushed the Witch Queen DLC afterwards, discounted, which I think is and prep of the new DLC Lightfall, which I've just saw and looks pretty cool. So I feel like they should have given us everything before the Witch Queen instead of like Beyond Light. Whether you have it or not, who cares? They should just giving you it all, really, and kind of just giving you more content. But I'm really sorry to say, but I think I may be playing this more than anticipated. But I look at it as more of a jump in, jump out game, as I have so much to get through because I could spend my life on Destiny 2. I've seen some people with their levels they've reached. It's like it is really enjoyable. There's so much to do outside of the DLC, and I've been having so much fun just playing like the kind of the online modes against people. It's just been like a super joy, really, and it kind of like brings back of why I probably played so much of the first Destiny. And when you look at its Metacritic, the PS4 version got a 76 of the Beyond Light, and the PS5 version is a 77. So it's got that kind of like seven and a half out of 10 type feel to it. Which, yeah, it probably does. Like the story is there. It really wasn't grabbing me from the parts. I haven't finished it yet. I will get around and finish the campaign. And when you look at this user score, oh god, people did not like this. PS4 is a 3.9, PS5 is a 6. So users did not like the DLC, which is a bit shame, to be honest. Which is a bit shame. But what I have actually noticed, another thing I'm going to note is, where's all the? There's like no trophies at all. There's not really much, really, like campaign wise. Like you would think, like, all right, we'll put in like different packs of trophies for each DLC of like completing the campaign, doing this, doing that, blah 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 blah. It's like, oh, okay, is that it? Oh, all right. So, you know, a bit boring for trophy hunters, mate. I like kind of like doing the whole trophies where you get it for campaigns and stuff. I don't know. That's how I like it. But anywho, let's go on to my thumb scores after my really bad review of this. Game score. I've actually quite enjoyed it. This DLC on this planet. I feel like it's been not too bad. But what am I saying? I'm not like a massive Destiny 2 die-hard day one person. So can I say it's better than the other campaign? No, but from what I have played of it, it's actually been very enjoyable, and on this planet, it's just feels great. It just looks wonderful. So I'm going to give a game score of 3/4 of a thumb up, really, because I think you're going to have fun with it, no matter what. Really, even if you didn't get Destiny 2 with free PS Plus, I think it's free to play now. Anyway, so it doesn't matter. So you can just play it and enjoy it. Takes up a lot of memory. It's like 100 odd gig, but it's worth playing. It's a lot of fun. Now, offering score. This is where we're going to be a bit like, oh, okay. So yes, it's a bit of a 2 years old DLC, but I feel like they've kind of done it wrong. They should, and I've mentioned it, they should have given us all the DLC that's Beyond Light, and there's like a 30th anniversary Bungie thing, Forsaken and whatever it is, Night Strike or something. Give us all the DLCs before the current main one, the Witch Queen. They should have given us all those, then discounted Witch Queen, then geared up to Lightfall, which does look good. I did look at it, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh. I'll keep an eye on that one. It kind of like the whole setting looked very on a cyberpunk futuristic city, so I also enjoyed that. So I feel like that's what they should have done. So for my offering score is going to be 1/4 of a thumb up, because I feel like that's what they should have done. They should have just given us all the old DLC and then just pushed us towards the latest one and the new one. That is what they should have done. But hey ho, who's going to listen to me? No one. Now on to our final game for February. Now our final game is Evil Dead, the game, which came out May 2022. So it's a bit over what? Oh, it's not even a year old. It's what? 9 months old. Yeah, about 9 months old. Which you think, oh god, it must not be good. It mustn't be good. Oh no. And yeah, the reason why this happens sometimes is that they are probably not. It may not have sold as many. Actually, I think it has sold pretty well from what I saw. I think it was on PC, but they probably want more players on there so they can push DLC, season passes, this and that. They want it as a. They want these games to be like ongoing. Really, they want it to be as ongoing as much as possible. And yeah, it's this is another game where I annoyingly I bought it in October last year. Yeah, it was October last year, and I was actually planning to play it this month. I was like, alright, I'm going to play this game because I've been really want to play into it because kind of love the old Evil Dead films, and yeah, I was like, it's just my luck. And on the month I kind of like, yeah, I'm going to play this. This happens, so that is very annoying. But that's the thing when you kind of go these things and you buy things 2 months ago. There is always that chance that it may come out on PS Plus. You just do not know. You just do not know at all. But anyway, that just means I don't have to worry about having to put the disc in the machine to play it. That's the main thing. That's the way I'm looking at it. Now, the Evil Dead, the game, is based off the classic horror film and TV series of the same name. That made Bruce Campbell, who plays the hero Ash, like a cult following. Really, you gotta love Bruce Campbell. I don't see why you can't not love him. And the hero Ash. And I've watched all the original films, not the semi/reboot film, and I've only watched some of the episodes from the kind of like the series they've done over the last couple of years. I haven't really watched them yet, but you know what I do? I hold the third film, The Army of Darkness, as a part of my childhood from watching it as like a 10-year-old and that old. And it was mid 90s. I remember going around a friend, went down to the video rental store, and with his daddy we got this and we watched it. We must have been 10, mid 90s at least. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And I wasn't scared of it, but then I watched it when I was a bit older. I was like, oh god, this is actually a bit frightening. And I was like, oh god, and I want to watch it. I want to watch the original films in the near future, just a reminder. Because I remember watching the first and second one. It must have been like late teens, early 20s, and I was like, oh god, Jesus, that's brutal. But yeah, but when you see this, you might think straight away, oh, it's just like Friday the 13th game, where yes, there are some similarities, but in the end, it's far from it. The game is mainly online, but you can play offline modes, and there are a few single player missions across this vast map where you can either just find a vehicle and drive to where you want to go. I've managed to get a few hours in the game, and it's been a really fun, tough, scary and frustrating experience. It really has been. It's fun with all the modes, being about to get the 4 survivors while trying to destroy this the necromonic. I just can't say it. It's gone from my head. and got to close the gates to hell. While trying to do that someone is also controlling like a demon entity that can set traps, possess ghouls, or possess players in the hopes of trying to prevent your force survivors from succeeding. There's also like a free-for-all mode of up to 40 players, which is then there's the 4v1, 1v4, there's the PvE. The PvP moment would be the free-for-all mode. But as a survivor, you can use and carry an array of melee weapons, from axes to the classic chainsaw, and then you can also you got your melee, and then you can have a gun. So you can have pistols, shotguns, and you can have the classic boomstick. There is all different levels, like types of levels of the weapon. So they go from common, rare, and stuff, and they all get more as you get the kind of rarer ones to the exotic ones, legendary ones, where they are. Their stats of them go up more. So you'll spend a lot of time scavenging, finding better versions of your weapons, changing this, changing that. And then you'll also be finding upgrades for your survivor or your demon each match, and it's something that you can aid you really greatly if done right. But if you're like me, you'll probably forget to do it 75% of the time. So you have to remember to really go like once in a while, go, all right, let me see if I can upgrade myself, upgrade this and this and that. But the game itself looks great. It has an excellent detail put into the character design. The map is very big, and it's filled with lots of little areas, from abandoned stores to a demonic ritual area to a mansion by a lake. Though everything is basically set out in the woods, you'll be traversing through the woods most of the time from going from area to area on this really big map. And they have really made you feel on edge when playing this game, as demons come out of nowhere and start attacking you, which gives you just a little jump scare during playing, which was just actually quite enjoyable. But one of the weak aspects I find, that it isn't too great controlling the vehicles. It doesn't feel the greatest, but it does do the job. But it's not it gets a little bit wonky, and then you kind of flip the car, and it's it's not the greatest vehicle control, but it does the job. The combat itself is simple and easy for the survivors, but the combat controls of the demon entity is a bit more kind of complex, and probably requires you to redo the tutorial a couple of times, so you're not hopeless in the game like I was. I'm I've got to redo this tutorial because I've just failed. I've just failed. But I did find also one of my biggest problems with the game is that it takes so long to get into a match. The amount of times I've gone into the free-for-all Splatfest match, and for it you're just being gets cancelled because someone's left the game. It's very frustrating. And then trying to do a 4v1 match, or even the vice versa, can you just it searches it, and you're like, oh god, why is this taking so long just to find people? Is this the problem? Is this why they've kind of get out? There's not enough current players. They need more current players on there to start playing it, to push these extra DLCs, these characters and all that stuff. I don't know. But one thing I would say is, because when I'm just playing it all, and I'm just playing the solo stuff as well, the missions, it would have been nice if you could do the missions solo or co-op. Because when I'm playing this, I'm like, oh, it'd be actually doing this co-op would actually be quite fun. You just have two different ashes or whatever it may be. But overall, I am quite pleased with this, and kind of happy yet kind of annoyed that this is the month I decided I was going to play the game, and then it comes out as a freebie. But what can you do? It is what it is. I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to play it. I'm going to keep it on my hard drive because I'm actually quite enjoying it. I'm not the greatest at it, but I'm actually really enjoying it. It's fun. It looks nice. It has that nice Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell kind of comedy. Well, the good old one-liners from Bruce Campbell from Ash's character is excellent. And when you look at its Metacritic, it's, well, what do you say? What do you say? There's no score on the PS4 version. PS5 version sits at a 72, and the user scores PS4 sorry is a 5.3, and the PS5 version is a 7.4. Now, when I look at the Metacritic score and the user score, I think that's right. It's that between this game is like between a 7 and 8. Definitely is from playing it. It is very fun. It could be better. It could be a bit more tighter. But overall, it's actually a very fun experience, and you can play it on your own. You can play with other people. It's actually really good. It probably might get confusing with where you're going, what you're doing, but you just really have to just do the tutorial once or twice, just so you are doubly sure you know what's this and that, and it will actually make your playing experience a whole lot more fun. It will be. So, my thumb scores for the Evil Dead, the game, well, not the Evil Dead the game. As a game score, I feel like it's a good game. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really happy that I'm going to be playing through this game. I'm going to have a bit of fun. I'm going to try to play with some friends, play with some randoms, and just have a nice time with it, because it is a lot of fun. So my game score is going to be a 3/4 thumb up, because it's definitely a quality game. Really, I think it just needs more people just populate it, so you can just get into games a bit quicker, because it's a lot of fun. Offering score, well, I think this is a good offering. It is. It's 9 months old. Take it how you want, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. It just means hopefully there'll be more players on there. Really, it gets more people on it and get to enjoy it more. So I'm going to go with an offering score of another 3/4 thumb up, because I think it's definitely worth playing, and it's worth spending time, play with your buddies, playing your own. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, I don't think we can go wrong with it. So yeah, good job. Now we've played through all the games of February's PS Plus. Now it's just to do an overall look and give an overall score for the month. So yeah, so first up, OlliOlli World, really enjoyable, fun game. I like what they've done with it. Definitely something I'm going to carry on playing through. Going to play through the main story and all that stuff. Get through the end. Do as much of the challenges as I possibly can. But yeah, good. It's a good one for me. I gave a game score of a 3/4 thumb up and an offering score of a full thumb up. And secondly, we had the Mafia Definitive Edition. Now, I've really enjoyed this. It has some kind of like some issues, but once you start playing through it, it won't bother you, and you will have a lot of fun. The story is very engrossing, and it's very enjoyable to play. And I gave a game score of a 3/4 thumb up and an offering score of a 3/4 thumb up. And our third offering for the month was the Destiny 2 Beyond Light DLC. So all I can say is I have had a lot of fun playing Destiny 2 in general, and this is just extra content to play Destiny because there's so much in Destiny. And all I have to say is so far I've been really enjoying it. The landscape you're on is just breathtaking. It's just amazing just to look at the landscape in these games, but on this level it's just like, oh wow. And I've just really been enjoying this game. So I'm going to give the game score of 3/4 thumb up, and the offering score is a 1/4 thumb up, because I do feel like they should have given us all of the DLCs before the current DLC that's out before the new one comes out. So yeah, I just feel like it could have been better. And then finally, to end the month, we had Evil Dead the game. Super enjoyed this. It is very fun. Really kind of brings that the franchise back to life, really, because it kind of just seems forgotten. And there have been some Evil Dead games. There's some I actually want to play. Supposedly some of them are super terrible. I never played any of the ones that were on PS1. I kind of want to play it. I think it was the one on PS2 that was supposed to be quite good. Might be confusing. There was one that was actually quite good, and there was one that was supposed to be really bad. I want to get them into my collection because they just look like a bit of daft fun, really. Some might be going to be really bad, some are going to be really good. But I've been enjoying this game. It needs more players to get in there, so it's not taking so long to get into a game. So I gave a game score of a 3/4 thumb up and an offering score of another 3/4 thumb up because it's a good one. It's only 9 months old. But when we look at those games, overall, how good was February's PS Plus PS Plus games? Now, I think we've been blessed with a pretty damn good month, really. I think overall, games are very good, really. Whether your cup of tea, that's another thing, but I think overall we got a very good selection of games. So my overall game score for February is a 3/4 thumb up. Offer wise, I think overall offerings are pretty good. There's only one where I think like the offering is a bit low, but all the other offerings I think are super top notch. And I think they are this is a super strong month. Really, I think it really is. So my offering score for February is a 3/4 thumb up. And yeah, so I think February has been a success. You never know what March might be super disappointing, but fingers crossed they keep it going because January was good. February is good. Hopefully March will be good, and each month will be good. Fingers crossed. But anyway, that's it for February's PS Plus plays. Thank you. Sorry for the delay. It was the Mafia problem of saying that I did own it, but I didn't own it because of me adding it into my damn library from when it was on the extra catalogue. But what can you do? This thing got sorted eventually. Anyway, until next time, guys, please like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the month. Did you like the games? What didn't you like? What do you hope for the next month? Or what games would you just generally like to see come out in the next couple of months in general on PS Plus? And yeah, let me know if you have any disagreements on what I think. Anyway, take care, guys. I shall see you soon in a different video. Take care and goodbye.